what it was. And then there would be like 4 people, including Brian, who's not here, but he's here in spirit. He's working in Toronto. They would lather me in what looked like crude oil. And then they would do my hair. And so I think I got to do that like 3 or 4 times, which was very fun. But just a little story about that. The first time I did that was one of the first days I ever worked on the show. And I didn't know people very well. So first of all, I had all these people spray painting my body, which was interesting. And then we had to shoot the first Lilith scene that ever happened right after that. So we had to get me back to normal Lilith. And we were very far from the studio, so they rented a hotel bathroom so I could change. So we all go, so I had to walk through the lobby of the hotel and I was covered in goo, and they're like, people were very confused, and we got into the bathroom and it would not come off. Like it was oil basically. So that was my first time getting to know Brian. He got into the shower with me and they were scrubbing me down. And it took about another hour and a half, got back to normal Lilith, blow dry the hair, and then I went and did, I believe it was the hospital, so that first where all the babies are there and Lilith is introduced. So yes, that was an exciting day.
So let me premise this by saying you are the sweetest, nicest person ever. So how do you, and this is really her question, how do you play all these badass, wicked women?
You know, my mom asks the same question. She is like, she doesn't get it. She's like, why are you not in a romantic comedy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like, I don't know. In my experience, every villain I've ever worked with on a show tends to be like they're the nicest people. And my theory is that we don't have outlets for being mean in real life. So we just use it when we get to do, we get to really be mean. And then we're nice during the rest of the,
So you get it all out of your system.
You get it out. You don't have to do it anymore. So
awesome.
I don't know. I think and they're just really fun to play. So I think if you love acting, like you would love to play a villain.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Speaking of nice people that are mean on the show, how much more would you have loved to see with you and Azure?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I wish I wish the show went on forever because there were so many characters that I mean everyone wanted this, but for me as Lilith, like I just was so excited to see where things were going, and I think me and Asmodeus, like there's some real history there. We could have done so much. So my heart breaks a little bit. Also, we had in one of the scripts there was a great Valentine and Lilith in-person scene that we got to read at the read-through, but it never actually made it into the show. And that, I think, also so much history, a lot of humor as well, which would have been amazing. So yes, evils unite. I think it would have been great.
Do you have like any? What is like your favorite value from Lilith? Like what is your like main goal or value that you would like? Yeah, that you love, that you would like carry with you. Like, because I know she's dark, but like,
Yeah, I mean she's dark, but she's got some great attributes.
but, like,
I think she is determined, and she is, she goes for what she wants, and she doesn't give up. And that's something that I definitely relate to. So every time I would get a script and it was like, okay, your last thing didn't work, let's try something else. I think that's a great, that's what we're doing right now. Yes. So yes, determination, not giving up. That's a great Lilith attribute.
I don't know like how like it works with audition or something like that, but like what
So it was just an audition. So I get calls from an agent that say, you have to be here at this time and here's the material. it's weird to say, but I connected to it right away. Mostly because it was the scene was about her son and trying to get him back, and I think that's a really something that we can relate to as human beings. So yeah, I auditioned, and I actually got an email from Todd, the showrunner. Him and I worked on a show called Defiance. Yeah, Defiance. A few years earlier, and he wrote to me and he said, look, you did a great job, but unfortunately we're looking for a Lilith that's a little bit older, because that, in the books she was probably just more, a motherly figure, and you did great, and I hope we can work together at some point. So I said, damn it, I guess that's not happening. And then about 5 days later, I get another email from him, and he's like, I'm not supposed to be telling you this, but everyone loved your tape. We've convinced them. I mean, the truth is, she's a demon, so she chooses anybody. It doesn't really matter. And I can't tell you this right now, but you're going to be getting a call. And so that was how I ended up getting Lilith. Yeah, which was so good. I was so happy. So yes, that's the audition process. And for every audition you get, there's probably 100 that you don't. Yeah. Yeah, so with the audition process, particularly with TV, if you're not being cast in the first season as a series regular, the turnaround is very fast. Meaning, when I got the role, I had 7 days to prepare before starting. So, yeah, and even when I think when I got the original audition, I didn't even they wouldn't really divulge so much about even what show it was, and so it was really once I got the role, Todd called me again and he goes, so you're the big villain. And I was like, what? I thought I was just in a couple episodes. Like, no, you are the big bad in season 3. So he suggested that, I read the book that is related mostly to this season, and he suggested that I watch what had already been shot, particularly the end of the last season. So, kind of getting to know Lilith, and obviously we see her enter frame in that last episode before season 3. So I did read that book and I loved it. It was I get it. It's so I kept saying to my boyfriend, it's so cozy. It's such a cozy read, New York, and it was just so wonderful. So yes, I did reference some of the books.
Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
How did you prepare for your last and final scene with the whole entire cast? How did you prepare mentally, physically, emotionally for that type of
I'm trying to remember if we shot it, because oftentimes we shoot things out of order. But I do think that my last scene ever was my last day on the show, and I mean, we were, at least for me, I wasn't sure if it was really the end. So I think it was a little bit of just trying to stay within what I needed to do that day. And I also loved being around the whole cast as Lilith, because they all hate me. No, as an actor, but and they all hate saying Lilith too, which is hilarious. They all, there's a lot of bloopers of them trying to say Lilith. So it was mostly a little fun day to just hang out with everybody. And Todd was directing, and it was wonderful. So yeah, I just tried to be as happy as I could, even though I knew maybe this was kind of the end. And then keep the badness of Lilith on the outside. Any more questions? Yes.
Okay, this is just a silly one, but hearkening back to one of everybody's favorite behind the scenes, what's your current favorite dance song?
What is that song called, by the way? It's Lizzo.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that was so fun. Oh my God, the footage we had was on a phone, right? But they were actually shooting it, so it must be somewhere in the archives.
Todd.
Yeah, I know. I need to find that for my demo reel with Harry. I'll use it for my reel. So, oh, one more.
Sorry, but you can't hear me.
I will come.
Can you explain like how you kind of developed the manner, like with this one mannerism, what is Lilith, came about?
I love your t-shirt. I was told that she was a demon, and they shared with me some of the drawings of what she was really gonna look like, and eventually we got to see. And so I always felt like she was kind of like reptilian and way larger than the human body that she had to use. So I just always thought about that, like kind of the way she moved, just kind of trying to always a little uncomfortable and then a little bit reptilian. That was like the whole. And then with the voice, you know, I think it's just like using a deeper voice for, you know, that power. And then when I think I only got to use like a higher voice when I was, you know, quote unquote, like picking Dom up at the bar, like to groovy him, and then also with Magnus, and so kind of using those two voices and, you know, trying getting what you need, but the real voice was, you know, trying to get as most demony and powerful as possible.
What other characters would you be?
In Shadowhunters? I mean, that's a hard question. There's something great about all of them. I loved, I thought like from an acting perspective, Dom in season 3 being the owl was a really interesting exercise, and I was like, oh, I would love to have like been possessed basically. But like for fun factor, I guess Harry's role, yeah. I mean, martinis and magic.
Good looking guys.
If nobody